Good morning, dear hearts. We're on lesson 17. Please subscribe. I see no neutral things. Yesterday I said I have no neutral thoughts, and that is the exact progression of how this world works, that the thought comes first. We've already spoken of that, and in the past few days we've talked about the thought coming first. We've also spoken about the idea of cause and effect. Holds true here as well as yesterday's lesson. These ideas of the thought coming first and the whole experience of cause and effect, these are basic parts of the foundation of A Course in Miracles, because these, especially the thought coming first, this is one of the ideas that we will use and grow to understand, that has to do with the reversal of our thinking, the reversal of the thought system that we have been using to go into, because the thought system we've been using has been the one of the ego. Hasn't worked out that well most of the time, actually ever, and go into learning how to use the thought system that comes from a non-separated mind. Remember at the beginning of the year, Lesson 1, we talked about, in the introduction, we talked about an untrained mind is not sustainable. Our minds are still not trained. It will take quite a while for us to get to that point, but we will make it. We will do. We will get there. So I see no neutral things. This idea is another step in the direction of identifying cause and effect as it really operates in the world. You see no neutral things because you have no neutral thoughts, just what I just spoke of, that the thought comes first, and it is always the thought that comes first, despite the temptation to believe that it is the other way around. This is not the way the world thinks, but you must learn that it is the way you think. If it were not so, perception would have no cause. Perception is seen with the body eyes, and perception would itself be the cause of reality with a little r. In view of perception's highly variable nature, this is hardly likely. I'm going to go back and read that and substitute that word reality with truth. So that this is not, you have to come to learn that it is the way that we think, the thought coming first. If it were not so, perception would have no cause, and perception would have no cause, and would itself be the cause of truth. And in view of perception's variable nature, that's hardly likely. Here, something else we will learn about truth. Truth is true, and nothing else is true. I may have already said that at least once this year, but the thing about perception and its highly variable nature is that it shifts and changes constantly. Truth does not. Truth is. Love is. As in the very beginning of the Course, that, what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. The truth has no opposite. The truth is true. But if perception were the cause of our seeing, then there really would be no truth, because perception is so mercurial. It changes and shifts so frequently. There would be no truth. So now, in applying today's idea, say to yourself, with your eyes open, I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. So I don't have a thought that's neutral. I cannot possibly see anything that's neutral. Now, let's go to this idea for a moment of the thought coming first. And it feels like I see it and then I think about it. But what I have said in the past is that the thought and the seeing happen so quickly, so basically at the same moment, simultaneously, that the most skilled surgeon with the best scalpel or laser now would have a difficult, if not impossible, task to separate those two things. We are very comfortable thinking that the thought comes first when we're doing things in the metaphysical world, such as manifesting. If I want to manifest, I have to have the thought first. But the truth is that the thought is always first. And even when it doesn't seem to be that way, it is because we are not always aware of what we are thinking. And remember, there's 62,000 thoughts. I don't catch all of them as they go through here to here. It's such at a rapid pace that I may not be aware of the thought. That doesn't mean I haven't had it. It just means I'm not aware. Remember, for anything to change, we have to have awareness. It's why we have to slow down and become aware of our non-neutral thoughts so that we can change and shift them. Okay, back to the actual lesson, the practicing. It's at least three. Three are required today. And as we glance around the room, resting our glance on each thing that we note long enough, just for a moment, I do not see a neutral blank because my thoughts about blank are not neutral. For example, I do not see a neutral wall because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. And I guess that can be very true in today's world. Maybe it wasn't when this was scribed, but now it sneaks in. I do not see a neutral body because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral, and that is so true. We have no neutral thoughts about bodies. When we think of the body, our body, any body, particularly our body, the one we're walking around in, and we haven't gotten, and we will, to realize that we are not only bodies or merely bodies, exclusively bodies, but body thoughts are never neutral. And as we wake up in the morning and as we have more trips around the sun, we have more thoughts and more twinges and aches and cramps and pains. And those experiences immediately eradicate any neutrality that I might have around a body, specifically my body. So we have to come to realize that all of those thoughts, those twinges, those experiences, and yes, that thought came first about the body, and then I experienced the pain, the twinge, the cramp. But I have to realize that all of those thoughts are coming from the separated mind, the ego mind, which even though it's the home of the body, it resides within the body, doesn't like it. So all of my ego thoughts, all of my body thoughts are coming from an unsustainable, separate mind. And that's all we're going to do today. Remember to practice 3 times at least, a minute or so each. So that's it. That's it. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment. Please breathe, please smile, because so much information is coming in as we are weaving this beautiful spiritual tapestry that we will indeed wrap ourselves around. And smile and breathe and pray. Just pray for the recognition of all of the gifts that have already been received, yet not recognized. Namaste.